Why did you guys not feel led to adopt? Could be wrong, but I'm guessing you have a mix of introverts, extroverts, outgoing, and shy kids. Do you do anything unique to make sure the children have enough one-on-one time with you both as the parents? My question is about teaching your children to drive. How do you teach them without being a nervous wreck and hoping they don't crash the vehicle? Thanks, Jennifer. Do you think it's still okay to read books and watch movies about Santa and just treat him like any other fictional character? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to sit down and just chat with you for a little bit. I have some of your questions I'm going to answer, give you a few updates. I am out in one of my prettiest places, and that is our very own property at our pond. It's so pretty in the fall. The kids and I have been taking walks just around the property in the afternoons, and they're enjoying it so much, and so am I. It's such good exercise to just get out walking. I push a jogger stroller a lot of times, and then the dogs walk with us, including the new puppy, and it's just so good to be spending time outside. I hope to even do it in the dead of winter, just hike through the woods and explore. The kids always find trees to climb. It's so good for mental health even, just to be outside. A lot of you guys have asked about, speaking of the property, have asked about our house in town and if we've sold it yet, because we haven't given an update for a while. And no, we have not sold it. We would have told you if we did. Things don't always go as you plan them. And if you're somebody who things always go as you plan them out, I would love to meet you and get your autograph, because I know nobody. You're one of millions in millions. One in millions, because I know nobody whose life just works out as they plan. By now, we had planned that we would certainly be building by August, hopefully. And here it is, getting to later October, and we haven't sold our house yet. So we were waiting to sell to start building a bigger home here on this property. But things don't always go as planned. I do know that as a believer, I feel like the Lord always works things out the way they should. And so although there can be some frustration sometimes, I don't know the big picture, and I believe that He who created me knows the big picture and knows what's going on. I have a lot of faith in that. Solo and I, we trust the process and what the Lord's taking us through. We know that likely it's going to work out better for us in the end. We're not seeing the whole picture. And so obviously the interest rates are greatly affecting our ability to sell. We've been watching a number of homes that are like ours, not brand new builds, in our price range, about our size. And we've been watching them since the beginning of summer, and they're all still for sale, just like ours. So it's over 8%. It kills you. Like, depending on how much you're financing in a house, I am no mortgage expert. My husband is, but depending on how much you're financing the house, it can be $1,000 or even $2,000 more a month for your monthly bill. And so people that could have afforded our house easily last year, it could be totally unaffordable for them this year. And that's just the way it is. And so there's a lot of other options we have, actually. One of them we're looking into is there's a interesting mortgage thing that hasn't been used for a long time because mortgage rates, interest rates have been so low. But apparently there's a thing where you can lock in something around 5% or 5.5% for the first year, and the seller eats that cost to make up the interest rate, and then it goes to whatever the current rate is in a year. So if someone feels like for sure it can't stay this high a year from now, we're definitely open to working out one of those package deals. We've looked at short-term rental options. We have a lot of friends who have been very successful with Airbnbs and try to convince us to do this all the time, because there are not many homes our size with a pool in our city that are doing that. I'm sure there's a good market there, but there's also a big risk, because you don't get the big cash out that we need to start building here like we would if we sold, obviously. And then there is expense and time of setting up the Airbnb, which we had moved all our furniture out. I don't think we have very nice furniture except our leather couches that we really want for our new house, so we don't want them in a short-term rental. We would have to furnish and decorate, and at least minimally, and put kitchen stuff in that house, and it would be a lot of expense and it would be a lot of time. You know, we could do a management company for that, but that's just some of the things we've weighed for months and months now. We've weighed that. There's also long-term rental, and I know there's a lot of interest for that. I know we could have that rented out immediately if we chose to do that. So that's another thing we definitely consider. We wouldn't get the big cash out. but we would not have a property sitting there empty, not making any money, and we wouldn't have to pay utilities on it anymore. So it would help a lot to rent it out. So we're weighing these things. We're very much praying about it. And we have to make a decision soon if we're going to do one of the other options besides just waiting on it. Obviously, it's a drain to our finances. So before we moved to the small house and decided, hey, let's move out of our other house, we made the decision that is it worth moving out of the big home we own and moving there, even if it never happens, like the dream never comes true. Yes, we decided definitely 100% it's worth it. We want to be out on this land, this gorgeous property. And just change our lifestyle, be out in the country. It's worth it even if we're in the little house forever. And we do face that now, that question again, like maybe we'll never get to build if the interest rates don't come down or this or that. I don't know what happens, but sometimes we remind ourselves of that decision. And are we still glad we did it? Absolutely. I feel so much peace just driving out here when I've been in town. It feels peaceful. It's just hard to explain. It's different out here. We miss our friends in town sometimes, but we have people out to our house way more than we did in town. Everybody, in fact, as I film this tomorrow morning, we have a huge group of men from church coming out and their sons and just to hang out on the property. So there's a lot happening out here all the time. We love it. So that kind of fulfills that extrovert side of a lot of us. And yeah, it's still worth it. So that was a long update to say we have not sold our house. And that's where we are mentally about that situation. A lot of people commented on the puppy. He's down here with me, and so is Nessa. He is so good. I cannot get enough of him. He's so sweet. I'm sure he'll get more rambunctious, but right now he's like just really calm and just sweet and so social. He wants to be around us and talk to us, and he's not supposed to be inside, but he does come in and out. And we may have held him during a movie night twice. He's just so irresistibly cute. We really love him. And Nessa, he gets along with the cats and Nessa too. I don't know where they are. Now I'm looking because the other day when we were down here, yesterday, he jumped right in the water. But they would be making, oh, there they are. They'd be making a lot of noise if they were in the water. It's amazing to me how they said the Great Pyrenees, their fur is self-cleaning. It really is. He was so clean by the time we got home from the walk. He had walked all that mud right out. But yeah, he's doing really good. I loved, so many of you had amazing name suggestions. We should have asked y'all before we got the dog and named it. Because I like a lot of them, a lot. In fact, my favorite one that somebody suggested, I told the kids and they said, oh, we need another dog right away to name him that. We will get another dog because they're very social dogs and he needs someone else. We just didn't want to handle 2 puppies at once. So we'll get a dog probably next year, another one. But it was Preacher. Isn't that a good name? I mean, like, so is Preacher, but it just sounds fun. There he is. Hey, Gable. He's named after Judah's favorite band, Gable Price and Friends. And so sometimes we call him Gable Price, a lot of times. Sometimes we call him Gable Price and Friends. Judah named him accidentally by just suggesting that. And all the kids are like, what? I love it. And so that is his name. And so it will be. Gable's a cute name though. I like it. Okay, guys, I'm answering some of your questions today. You all sent me questions on my email, asksarah@ourtribeofmany.com. And some of you even sent me video questions by turning your phone this way and filming a question and sending it in. And I appreciate them. I'm still answering questions. I think some of them I'm looking at right now are from May 30th. So I feel so bad. You know, it happens. It's been a long time and I do feel bad about that. I'm going to answer some really good questions today. Bailey asked, she said, hi Sarah, I'm too camera shy to send a video, but I've always wondered how you and Solo address the many different types of personalities with the kids. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing you have a mix of introverts, extroverts, outgoing, and shy kids. Do you do anything unique to make sure the children have enough one-on-one time with you both as the parents? Actually, I don't think we have a huge mix. Of course, we have a mix of personalities. They're all so very different. But as far as introvert and extrovert, most of my kids are extrovert, like my husband. I don't know how they all came out looking like him, and they all came out extroverts like him. It's amazing. Judah, definitely an extrovert. Belle, extrovert. Luka, we used to think was an introvert. He is such an extrovert, like maybe more than any of them. Micah, definitely an extrovert since he was little tiny. Tori, definitely an extrovert. I guess once we get down to Eli, I'm not quite as sure. He's kind of more like, I could see him maybe being an introvert, but he could be like Luka and surprise us too. So many extrovert kids. And one thing that we have done different, especially since we moved out here, even before we fully moved out here and we just had this place, we made one afternoon, evening a week, just like it's always open. As long as we're home, it's always open to bring your friends. For us, that's Sundays after church. Everybody can bring out their friends and stay till however late they want to stay, and they stay late. And it's just always open. Our house is always open that day. And that has really helped. I love that a lot of my kids' friends feel very comfortable out here. And it's just helped them have a little more social time. Of course, my big kids that are driving or getting rides like Micah, they're out doing stuff all the time. I miss the days when they were all just home all the time and we always had dinner all together. Oh boy, I miss those days. But yeah, we make sure that they have plenty of time. As they grow and become teenagers, kids really need friends. Friends are very important. The other thing is like spending time one-on-one with them. I use a curriculum for homeschool. So when you're homeschooling, you spend so much time with your kids, no matter what, just automatically. I think unless you have them in an activity constantly, you're getting tons of time with your kids. So I do appreciate and love that. Even Solo gets more time with the kids because of homeschool. We have always had a day off a week that we spend with the kids. We just have more time than we would if they were in school, by far. We also use a curriculum that is meant to be done like in a group school setting, and when you have a lot of kids, and I don't do it that way. I split it all up. It's Sunlight curriculum, and so I have every kid in their own grade. So I spend a lot of time reading to my kids, and even if I record myself because I'm tired of reading this book 7 times already, I still am reading their history with them or their science with them. And so I do spend a lot of time one-on-one with the kids, just working with them. I meet with all of my older kids that I'm not reading to anymore, and so I meet with them separately, and just so even through school, I have time to just talk to them. We spend a lot of time talking. Solo will take kids out or travel with them, or we just find different ways to spend time with them individually or in pairs when we're running errands, all different kind of things. There's a lot of ways to find time, especially I think the homeschooling helps us a lot in that regard because our kids are with us the bulk majority of the day. Although some of them work now a lot. They're still with us more, I guess. Okay, Jenny asked, "Hi Sarah, thanks for starting the Ask Sarah videos." She sent it back when I was starting. Sorry it's taken me so long to get to this, but she said, "My question is about teaching your children to drive. How do you teach them without being a nervous wreck and hoping they don't crash the vehicle? Thanks, Jennifer." It is really scary when you first take your kids out to drive. We try to start in parking lots. We have another one, Micah. He turned 15 in August, and we haven't gotten him we just haven't taken him down to get the driver's thing yet, but he drives our Gator around all the time, which is awesome and we'll have him like park cars out here and different things. So he's actually had way more experience than the other kids did before they drove their first times. I'm not even gonna be nervous about Micah. There are a couple of them, especially the boys, sorry boys, that were really scary to teach. So we would spend time in parking lots. I had a neighbor who had triplets, and she told me when they were Judah's age, and when they turned 16 or 15 and got their driving permits, she and her husband and their older son, I think, took those kids out to drive. Like they just spent a whole day, hours for each child. She told me they just did it all at once. I thought that was so smart, and we've tried to implement that kind of system more because it can be, if you just have them drive a little bit and it's terrifying, and then you work yourself up to it a few days later and make yourself take them out for a little bit, and then it's terrifying again, and then you stop. There's something to be said about just like getting all the terrifying done at once. Of course, you start in parking lots and maybe out on country roads, and you prepare them as much as you can. But to give them that a good start where they can actually get confident that first time, I think makes a huge difference. So we tried that with a couple kids. Solo, usually the kids ask me to drive with them now because he doesn't enjoy it as much, and he's been known to grab a steering wheel. I don't know what he would say if he was here. I probably should have saved this question for him. But he does better with them once they're like, a little more competent now. So we kind of have a system where I tend to drive with them a little more in the beginning. And then, yeah, that's how we're working it out right now. Hi, Nessa. You want to say hi, too? Yes, it's not all about the other puppy, right? Mm-hmm. She's been a little jealous. Oh, he got really messy. Gable, are you full of mud? Oh, yeah, he went and got himself a little mud bath there. By the way, guys, I'm going to talk about Santa in a very real way here. So if you have children that you want out of the room, this would be the time. Okay, Olivia said, my husband and I have 2.5-year-old twin girls. Oh my goodness, how fun. And we recently decided not have Santa be a part of our Christmas celebration. Do you think it's still okay to read books and watch movies about Santa and just treat him like any other fictional character? I love your channel. You've inspired me so much, Olivia. We always treated Santa like just a fictional character, but we didn't call out his fictionness. There would just be some casual banter about Santa throughout the Christmas season. We weren't telling our kids one way or the other. Like, we're not hyping them up about Santa in any way. And if they ask questions, I would just usually say, well, what do you think? And then they would tell me what they think. Well, I think he might be real. I don't think he's real. And I would just be like, oh, okay. And we just really didn't make any big deal of it. And most of our kids did not believe in Santa, really. They just kind of loved it to play along. And what our intention in that was to let them play along with it if they want and have fun with it, in just like that fun way that it can be around Christmas time. I know this is a very controversial subject. Some people will totally disagree with me, but that's fine. That's just the way we did it. That's the way my parents did it. Well, then we moved into a neighborhood where the kids had a lot of friends who believed strongly in Santa Claus. And before we knew it, we had some younger ones that were full on believing and talking, like spending hours and hours talking and plotting about Santa with friends. And that put us in a different position that we weren't used to or ready for, because normally we were just like, it was kind of a non-issue basically. And so I didn't want to burst their bubbles and their friends through them at the same time. And yeah, that was kind of an awkward stage. And after that experience, we just kind of let it play out. They started finding out. Some probably haven't quite yet, but after that experience, I do sort of regret even playing along with it as much as we did before. I think if I were to start all over, I would be a hard line no. I don't know if Solo would feel the same way. I should have asked this with him, but I think if I were starting all over, I would do it without completely, but still, I would still let him watch movies and stuff. It's just fun, that part, but I would make a more clear line about it, I guess, of this is very much fiction. All right, Luann has an adoption question. Hi, Sarah, I watch your channel and love it so much. My question is about international adoption. My husband and I were not able to do so, but we have 2 homegrowns, she said in quotes. We have multiple large family friends who have had the financial means to add to their families through adoption from China, Kyrgyzstan, and Ethiopia. I know some countries open and close their adoption processes on a frustratingly regular basis. Why did you guys not feel led to adopt? Thank you. I'm praying for your upcoming surgery. Oh, that was a while ago. Sorry, Luann. Yeah, thank you for that question. We have not ever not felt led to adopt. In fact, we felt very led to adopt several times. I wouldn't say felt led to adopt, but I had a strong desire. Even before I met Solo, there was a child I really wanted to adopt. International wise, it is very frustrating how countries open and close their adoption processes. We know the most about Kenya because we followed it very closely, and we would love to adopt from Kenya. We always have wanted to. In fact, the child I wanted to adopt before I married Solo was from Kenya, and he has a great, wonderful family now. And I know that the Lord worked that out for how it should be, but we have talked about it several times that we've pursued several things from the States and overseas, that adoption situations that did not work out. Kenya makes it so hard, even as a citizen. Only citizens can adopt. Obviously, we feel a special bond to Kenya since Solo's Kenyan. There are so many orphans there. We met when I was working at an orphanage there. Ooh, I can get worked up about this one. It's made very difficult, even if you're not living in Kenya and a Kenyan citizen, it's near impossible to adopt. You also mentioned the expense is incredible when you're adopting overseas. We've had international adoption friends have their adoptions halted midway because a country just suddenly closed because of one reason or another. And I understand there is a lot of corruption there too. There's been a lot of people that have taken advantage of children, the most vulnerable. And so there are reasons that these countries do these things. Sometimes do I feel like they're knee-jerk reactions that affect a whole lot of people that don't need to be affected? Yes, but who am I and what do I know? We're definitely open to adopting one day, but we're not pursuing it right now. Right now we're in a very tiny house. I don't think any home study would approve us for adding more children to this house. I love encouraging people, if they have the means and they're happily married and or whatever, their situation is great, their home life, to adopt if they can. I love adoption. It's a beautiful redemptive story. Obviously is birthed from a painful story. I love hearing people's adoption stories. Adoption is very close to my heart because I've worked so much with orphans over the years. That's literally the reason I went to nursing school. It was not to work in a hospital in the States. It was to work in an orphanage overseas or a children's home. So,
hi Sarah, my name is Hannah, and I had a question for you about how you keep up with kids' toys and things. I have 4 kids of my own, ages 10 to 3, and we homeschool and do a lot from home, and sometimes I feel like we're drowning in stuff. I know from watching your videos you are fairly minimalist, you don't keep a lot of stuff, but I just wondered how I go from having too much stuff and convincing my kids, who are all heavy savers, to let go of some of that stuff. So any tips or ideas you have? I'm thinking of things like kids' rooms that have too many toys, we have a basement that has too many toys, and how to keep up with it, or how to help them and myself get rid of it. Thank you.
All right, Hannah, thank you for that video. I love answering this question because it is just real. It's real life situation here. One thing I have done that was very effective when I wanted my kids on board with just getting rid of more toys. So to me, it comes to the point where it's spending too much time to clean it up, or it just becomes a disaster way too fast. And so when I have explained to my children, like, okay, listen, we had a basement with a lot of toys for a while, and I realized it's getting trashed, and they hated cleaning it as much as I hated having to go down there and help them because they couldn't do it themselves because it was too much. And so I told them, you know, the reason it's this bad is because we have so much. We have too much. So let's put some of it away for a little bit. It will be more fun to play with your toys, because that is the truth. They like to play, and they will have more fun when there's a lot less. That's my experience anyway. When there's a lot less toys, kids play better. When I told them that, okay, let's just put some away. Well, I don't want to put, what are you willing to put away? Could we give some away? There might be some kids that need some toys. What could we give away? Sometimes if they're not home, I'll go through and trash the toys that are literally just trash. You know how like heads come off of dolls, and I'll go through and just collect a bunch of that trash. But then I do like to involve them in what they want to put away for a while. And so like, for instance, the stuffed animals were just out of control, but they really do love the stuffed animals. So I told them, let's put them away for just a little bit. Let's just pack them up. And then when you want to play with them, we can bring them out, but we're just going to put them up. We're going to put them in this container and put it up here, wherever, somewhere that they don't see it. I'm amazed that when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. We kept the stuffed animals, fast forward, but we keep it really high. And when I pull it down, they play with it. They have such a good time with it now because they don't see it all the time. And then when we're done, we pack it all back up and put it back away. So over the years, we've gotten down to just the toys that they actually like and play with. I'm very good now at recognizing what toys they wouldn't play with long term, but if I make a mistake, which I do sometimes at Christmas and birthdays, I'll get something that I think they're really gonna love and they don't play with it much, I will just phase that out pretty quickly. We don't keep that kind of stuff around very long. So the toys we have now are the toys that they really do love. And it's usually toys they are very imaginative with, like the dolls and the kitchen thing, or that they create with. They love like kinetic sand and blocks, things like Legos, things like that. But to have all of that stuff out at once would be complete chaos. I usually don't keep toys in the room. If it is, it's more like they're special toys that they don't want their siblings to play with. To me, I'd rather be able to have a clean room every night when they go to bed, and that's almost impossible if there's a lot of toys in the room, or you're just gonna be spending so much of bedtime routine picking up toys. So I personally don't like toys in the room much, but I also don't like them all over a living room or anything like that. When you have a basement, it's different because it's kind of like you don't have to see it all the time, but I'll take different toys and put them in different places, like a container up here, container here, a few here that they can always get to that they really, really love. Maybe it's in the bedroom, but it's not much at all. It's very manageable. So if we had to clean it all up, we could do it very quickly, or they could even do it on their own, very quick and easy. Get them involved. Let them be a part of the decision. They don't have to get rid of all their toys. You can put them away. You can put them up high and then say, okay, this is exciting. We're making a decision today. What do you want to play with? Even if you have 4 kids and they each pick something different and you have all your toys up somewhere where they can't get to them. A locked cupboard, I don't know. So that day you're like, okay, what do you want to play with? And they each pick one thing. It's going to be a lot less toys than what you probably have going on now. It will make everything, it is so worth it because it makes it more peaceful. It's easier for them to clean up their own mess. If you're requiring your kids to clean up 1,000 little items, they're not going to do it. And then you're going to be upset, and it just makes for a bad day sometimes. So I hope that helps a little bit. I would definitely get those things high up somewhere else. It will benefit everyone involved. Thank you guys for watching today. I really appreciate you sending in the questions. I feel bad that I'm so far behind, but I'm getting there. I love answering your questions. They're so diverse, like hearing all these different perspectives and what's going on in your house. And I really love seeing your faces and hearing your voices too when you're able to do that. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Bye. Look at that cute puppy. Oh, he's so full of mud.